morning. This is Masa-san. Welcome to Softbank Ventures Forum. I'm sorry I could not come to meet with you face to face. As you can understand, I am running all over the world now. But I'm very, very excited to talk with you about our future of our industry, about our vision of Softbank Group, what we are thinking about. So I'm sure many of you have already a lot of success by yourself, and you have your own vision to grow yourself. At this opportunity, I'd like to talk about a little bit of my way of thinking, so we can share some visions, thinking together. When I make investment, or when I think about Softbank ourselves, I always try to think at least 10 years. 30 years, in many cases, I think about. I don't think about next 3 quarters, next 3 years. That is not my interest. That is a job our people do in their business, in their operation. Of course, they have to think about it. But when I make investment, I don't think about 3 years. Of course, not 1 year. I would think about at least as a minimum 10 years, most likely 30 years. It's very difficult to imagine what would be the world in 10 years, 30 years. So people ask me, why in that uncertainty environment, situation, how can you decide? That's the question I always get asked. So I say, of course, think about 10 years, 30 years is difficult to imagine. But if you ask me, what are you good at? If you ask me what will be the share price of SoftBank or Alibaba or Yahoo, whatever, in next 3 months, I am not good at pinpoint telling what will be the share price in 3 months. What will be the share price of Facebook in 3 months, or Amazon in 3 months. I am not good at telling what the stock price would be in 3 months. But I have a little bit of sense of what will be the range of a price in 10 years. I always think about that. And if there is only one thing that I am a little bit better than average people in thinking about 10 years, big direction, big picture of our industry, because I always think about this. I always think about, every day, I always think about what will be our life in 10 years. What will be our life in 30 years? So I'm always asking this question to myself. I don't know how many of you always think 50%, 90% of your thinking about 10 years of the future. I think many of the company's CEO, many of the company's management people, they don't spend enough time think about 10 years, think about 30 years. So I try not to invest into any company that the company will be 3x in 10 years. That is not what I am good at. What I am good at is 10x in 10 years. on the average. That is what I am good at. So many times I make mistake. I not always make a right decision. I make mistake many times. But once in a while I have 100x or 20x, and many of them are zero. So on the average, last 10 years, I think we made an average 20x last 10 years. 38% IRR per year for last 10 years, 20x on the average. That is not bad. That is not bad. So next 10 years, I'd like to make 10x. Another next 10 years, I wish to have another 10x. So how can you think about in that way? To me, I have a fundamental in thinking. Every 18 months, the microprocessor's power double. Every 18 months, the size of the memory chip double. Every 18 months, communication speed double. So if you double 10x, 10 times, 2 to the 10, if you double 10 times, that is 1000x. So what I know is in 15 years, the CPU power, the memory size, communication speed increased by 10x in that performance. In 30 years, what happened? It will be 10x times 10x. Because 15 years, 1.5 year is 18 months. 15 years, it will increase by 1000x. Another 15 years, it will increase the power by 1000 times 1000. So that means 1 million times. In 30 years, our industry, information revolution's power increase by 1 million x in terms of the computing speed, computing memory size, the communication speed. So if you are increasing our industry's revolution by 1 million x in 30 years, our life would be very different from today, which I call as the information revolution. With this fundamental, unbelievable, exponential curve of progress, we have many opportunities. Many things that we today think as a common sense change. The traditional way of doing business, traditional way of communicating with people, traditional way of information gathering, all change. So that's where a lot of opportunity exists. So I hope many of you will be the hero of the tomorrow. I'd like to support you. When you have a greatest idea, I'd like to support you. When you have such a strong passion, I'd like to support you. Of course, I cannot see you every day. So we have a great guy, Greg. Greg Moon is in Korea for me. He can talk with you. He can screen for me. He can tell me. He can give me advice. This is the company that we have to support. This is the technology, this is the business model we have to support. So, I am open to any of you. Whenever you have a craziest idea, a greatest business model, come see me. I'd like to support you. Because I believe the opportunity is open to all of us. And I'd like to grow ourselves also. So please help me grow Softbank Group. Thank you very much.